Hey guys, I'm Sarah Lavonne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am back for part 2, all about occiput posterior or OP babies, meaning if you haven't checked out part 1, pause this video and then make sure you watch that first video so that you understand exactly what I'm talking about and why these techniques might actually help you. Now, while you're at it, I would appreciate it if you click that little subscribe button at the bottom to become a part of the Bundle Birth family and make sure you never miss a future video. And then make sure you turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any into the future, especially part 3, because there's another one coming. Today, I'm gonna show you my top positions to help you turn a baby from OP to OA, which can ultimately help you have less pain in your labor and birth, and then also could contribute to shortening your labor, which who doesn't want that? So let's get started. All right, this is the video that you guys have been waiting for so long, and I've sort of been putting off because I wanted to do it justice and really prep for it, and I have my whole setup here for nursing mentorship, so I figured I'd take advantage of it while I'm here. So, a couple of things before I actually demonstrate the different positions. So we talked about we want baby to turn from the back to the front somewhere through labor, and through the process of labor, ideally by the end of pushing, baby is this position. First tip I have for you is not to stress. Your anxiety, your adrenaline, being so stressed out about this stuff can actually physically slow down your labor. Whether your baby's OP or not, it can slow down your labor. We don't want that. Just let go. And we're trusting in the process. We're letting go. So that's my first tip. The second tip for OP babies, and this is like one of your biggest takeaways, is you gotta move. Okay, you have to get up and move around. If you don't have an epidural, especially like while you're at home or as you're anticipating labor and if things are building, or let's say you're induced in the hospital, this is why I always say once you start feeling contractions and it's not 3 a.m. and you're exhausted and sleepy, or you're I don't know, like feeling like you can't get out of bed for some reason, then the goal is you gotta get up and move. We have to use gravity to our advantage while we have it, especially if you intend on an epidural. And then we gotta move around because ideally you wanna take advantage of the positions you can do in an upright position, putting weight on your feet prior to getting that epidural, okay? And that movement, whether it be side to side, big, huge hip circles on a ball, which I'll show you in a second, are going to really help this baby to not only be able to move, so you're kind of like encouraging baby to move, but also you're softening out all of the ligaments and the fascia and the pelvic floor in here to make space for the baby. Because if everything's really tight, if this baby comes down one way, it's like, I'm really trying to move, but like I can't move, guys. And so that movement, that heat, that friction, that touch, those massages can really help to soften all of this up so that baby's like, okay, hold on. Now I have just a little bit of wiggle room to start moving in the right position, if that makes sense, okay? So biggest takeaway is movement. I'm gonna show you that in a second once I get up off the table, but I figured I'd talk to you before I go crazy by moving the whole entire room around, all right? So my first position for you is going to be an all fours position. So turned over on your hands and knees, and I'm gonna tell you why and then I'll show you. So on the back, if baby's coming down and pressing on your tailbone, right? If you're on your back and it's already pressing, you're gonna be really uncomfortable on your back. Even on your side can be helpful, and I have a side lying position, especially for those of you with an epidural. But the idea is that once you turn over, then all of a sudden this back part of the head that's sticking out, if it's back this way and it's pressing, and then so it's here pressing with gravity, you turn over, all of a sudden gravity alone is gonna just pull the baby's head off the tailbone a little bit, off these structures. Typically people that have an OP babies in that position in labor, they cannot tolerate almost any other position, okay? And so there are so many positions you can do in an all fours position. So when you're doing any kind of positioning, you wanna make sure that you have a pillow or 2 or 5. I'm like a pillow junkie. I'm like, when I go to the hospital, I'm like, please go on a scavenger hunt and find us all the pillows in the world. So you have your pillows, and then I do have a peanut ball here. So if you are delivering in the United States, this is a great question for your provider when you're in your prenatal visits. See if your hospital has a peanut ball. They're called a peanut ball because they're shaped like a peanut. I have 2 peanut ball videos that you can check out. Those positions, there's actually Most of them can help with an OP baby, but the ones I'm showing you today are a little different and specific for helping turn the baby. So we're gonna use the peanut ball today, and then I'm gonna get up in a second. But what you would do for, actually I'll use it now, for an all fours position, and this is with or without an epidural. I will say that most nurses are, I would say the majority of nurses from my experience are not gonna be super comfortable with somebody with an epidural turning to all fours. But I will say that it's a little bit sort of my mission, especially when I'm teaching and training nurses, to help us to provide more options for you, because an all fours turned over position can be extremely helpful for labor. And if you watch somebody delivering without an epidural, they are on all fours at some point in their labor. They may even prefer to deliver that way. That is sort of a preferable way to deliver. Total tangent. But we need to be doing better for you guys and providing you with more options. Now, obviously, if it's not safe, you can't even lift your leg up on your own, then that your epidural is on the heavier side and you may not be able to do all fours, okay? But especially if you don't have an epidural, get on all fours. So you can stack up some pillows, or you can use your peanut ball to lean over as well. And that's gonna allow for some space for your belly to droop. I should put on the belly, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so the peanut ball can be really nice there, or you grab a pillow and you can bring up the head so that you're comfortable like this. The goal with any position is for you to be able to fully relax. Like, you don't wanna be holding all your tension in your body and like, oh, I'm in pain. That's only gonna slow down your labor, okay? So we want you turned over. So you can use a peanut ball, you can use a bunch of pillows. If you're in the hospital bed, you can watch my hospital bed, how to use a labor bed video, because I show you different ways that you can use the hospital bed. But what you're doing when you're leaning over is you're here and you wanna be able to relax and surrender. We don't want you super tight and tense, okay? Now, doing some cat-cows, doing some kind of hip circles around is gonna be really helpful. What I encourage you to do is you wanna make sure to listen to your instinct. If you have one side that feels horrible and it feels better to kind of like do a little belly dancing action on one side, then do it. That's gonna help encourage the baby in the right direction. Your instinct is everything. Now, if you don't have instinct, we wanna be, given like if you have an epidural or something, we just want to flip-flop you. We want to turn positions every 30 minutes if we know that baby is OP, okay? Be a little bit strategic about it, knowing that gravity, the back of the baby's head is actually the heaviest part. So gravity is going to naturally, if you're here and then you flip over and the top of the baby's head's towards the top, the gravity is going to help to pull it to one side or the other. So all fours is your go-to position. Now, there's so many variations of this, like I said, with the cat-cow or the front back, the around. You can also do some of these because remember, motion is lotion. We love moving our bodies, okay? And that's gonna really help. And so if we do some of these big hip circles where you're tucking and then you're going down on your knees, if you're early labor, we want you tucking, okay? That tucking action is gonna be really good to help to move this baby in the right position, all right? All fours is my go-to position if somebody is in labor and their baby is OP. Now, one variation with a peanut ball, one of our favorites here at Bundle Birth and what we love teaching our nurses is what's called fire hydrant. You can imagine why. You're gonna grab a peanut ball, align it with the hip, and go on all fours, and then this top leg goes up with the bottom leg down. And I will show you this from the other angle and switch the peanut, but you're here, okay? And the partner can rock the hip back and forth, and then you would do both sides unless your nurse could help you identify where the baby's at and how to open that side to specifically choose the side. It's a little too complicated to try to explain to you. So then if you were to see it on this side, line it up, knee, arm, foot up here, arm down, and a rock back and forth, or even just my leg is up. Now, the same concepts apply for that leaning over position. You don't have to be on your knees. To me, that's like probably a little bit easier, or you could in theory do it with an epidural. The fire hydrant with or without an epidural, flex and flow, your nurse is gonna have to assess and see if that's safe for you. The other thing is just leaning over. So if I were to lean over like this onto the bed, you can be in the hospital, you could be in your countertop, like in your kitchen if it's a little higher, or in leaning even lower than this. But this to me feels really good because what happens is I am still leaned over in a way that gravity is pulling forward, but the amount of movement that I have for this booty is real, okay? I can go down into a squat. I can do a lot of things where I'm leaning on this table, rocking, creating that motion, which is lotion. You wanna slip and slide that baby out. And then also create gravity to lean over to help this baby's head twist in the right direction. Now, the other position that I'm gonna show you is what's called extended runners, I think. Justina Bundelberg-Jordan is like, loves this position. So what you would do with this position, you would need a peanut ball or a bunch of pillows. And the idea is we want to create space and stretch on the pelvis, on the hips. You can always stretch in general. If you have tension anywhere, even now I like can feel a pull in like my psoas or my groin muscle, which is really good because if this is tight, it can affect things. And so what you would do is even with an epidural, this is a great one for epidural. You're gonna lay on your side. The front of your body is, and your chest is gonna be turned towards the bed. So it's almost like you're laying on your belly. You're not laying on your belly, but your belly is resting really well against the bed. And then your top leg is gonna go open but twisted. So it's like this, like I'm running position, which I will show you right here. So now I'm in an extended runner's position. This is so helpful. Now, the thing is my hips are not stacked here, okay? They're actually crooked because I'm turned, so the belly is flush with the bed. My boob should be like really smushed up, my bottom boob. And then my back arm is behind me. Here, I can't even get it up. Hello, I hope you can see that. Okay, and then my front is here and you can tuck in a pillow, and then the leg, the knee and the ankle are like even with the thing. Now, partners, you can rock her back and forth this way. We're saying rock, baby. Come on, baby. You can do it, baby. Let's create space for you to be able to rock and turn. This one is so helpful for epidural positions. Like if you have an epidural and your baby is OP. Or even if you're laboring down, like if you're 10 centimeters, then you can actually use this position in that 10 centimeter mark to help rotate the baby. Now you would want to do both sides unless your nurse could help you determine which side to go. The other positions that I'll show you, I said this was gonna be 3, but I'm definitely giving you more than that, would be on a birth ball. So if you have a birth ball and you are at home and you know your baby's OP, you can use this prenatally. My birth ball, by the way, needs to be blown up. So you really want the birth ball so that when you sit, you're at more of a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna be lower than that. So in theory, bear with it, okay? But when you're bouncing on the birth ball, you can do those big hip circles, same thing as engage the baby. You wanna loosen everything up, rock front and back, side to side. A lot of times you're gonna end up leaning over, okay? So that like back stretch, whatever, all of these. I have a whole birth ball guide on my website if you wanna check that out, if you want more help with that. But either way, get on your birth ball, motion is lotion, get things moving. And then, this is the actual position I was wanting to show you. You're gonna grab a floor stool of some sort. Now, this could be a floor stool. This could be like the little ledge on the bed. This could be a stack of books, so long as they're not slippery. This could be anything that's just gonna get you from being straight. We want you crooked, okay? Now, whenever you're lunging, which is what we're gonna do, we're not doing like lunges, like exercise lunges, okay? Like we're not trying to work out that hard. You're working out hard enough. But instead, we wanna open up everything on one side. You will likely have one side that feels better than the other, so go with the one that feels better. So let's say my right side feels better. I put up my left leg and I'm like, oh, ugh, it feels weird. It feels like bad. Okay, then we use the other side. You can also do both sides, and I encourage you to do both sides, especially if both feel kind of equal. Either way, the goal with the lunge is not to be turned towards the stool or towards your leg like this, because we're gonna rock. Motion is lotion. We wanna move everything out. We wanna lunge to the side, okay? And what that does is we're rocking our hips side to side. You can do some of these, like whatever movement feels good, we wanna do it that way, okay? Now, side to side, front to back, this is going to open up the pelvis. It's gonna help with the pelvic floor, especially if baby is on the lower side in your pelvis, and help to encourage that rotation in the direction where your leg is. Thanks everyone for being with me here today. I hope you found this super helpful. I hope this is everything you were hoping of. Let me know what you try, what works, what maybe didn't work, what your stories are with OP babies, and then get on all fours, rock your hips around, even if you're standing like a side to side, Big hip circles all around. We wanna motion is lotion. Rotate this baby down and out of you so that you can hopefully get that vaginal birth and it can hopefully speed up your labor. If you want more from me, you can always head on over to bundlebirth.com. Everything is listed in the description box down below. I also have Instagram, so make sure you follow me on Instagram so that you never miss a future video. You hear all the behind the scenes things of what's happening in my life, in births, in business, and whatever, lots of new little tidbits over there. Make sure you subscribe down below, and then until next time, don't forget to flex and flow, and I will see you soon. Bye. It's still in the shot. Here we go. Better, better. Oh, I win. Trying again. If you don't know what that means, you would. Now, while you're at it, make sure that, and I would really think it would be very funny if I fell off this. We are gonna try really hard not to fall off. My head is